Would you just introduce yourself? Name, title, where you work?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jarrod Newman. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Washburn Computer Group.
What was your very first hourly job?
First hourly job. I actually work at a car wash in South Dallas. Made $5.15 an hour, which I think was minimum wage at the time.
Wow.
Part of that job, I was guaranteed a raise after my first 30 days and got up to $5.25.
Wow. You must have been a very hard worker.
Absolutely.
What are you doing now?
Well, I mean, I've been in sales in and of itself for 20 years. Most of my career spent in the payments industry. And then for the last year and a half, I've had the opportunity to run the sales team here at Washburn. Washburn is my first, move into the point of sale industry. Coming from the payment side, I thought I knew enough to be dangerous. Turns out I had a lot to learn, still have a lot to learn, but I'm learning as I break things. And that's, for the most part, the customers are pretty okay with that.
It's the fastest way to go, for sure. First is the best, but it's the fastest.
Well, I mean, again, as long as they're understanding, I can get away with it.
So what did you love about working at the car wash?
I can't say there was any part of it that, the car wash, there wasn't any part of it that was super exciting to me. But the social life that it allowed me to have at 16 was really all I was doing. So that was the driving factor behind it. It certainly wasn't a life calling that I, just felt.
What about now? What do you love about your job now?
The people aspect of it. I mean, that's the whole reason I'm in sales. It's truly I make the joke all the time. I don't do sales because I love a quota. The conversations like this, getting out and getting to, have conversations with friends that turn into partners and partners that obviously drive revenue for the organization. But at the end of the day, it's really about me and these people connecting. I feel like, to a certain degree, for better or for worse, my golf career didn't pan out. Just, being likable and enjoying being around people has been a career that I've enjoyed immensely. Plan on continuing to do until my golf game works out.
So we're at the NGA show 2025. I feel like every time I come to NGA, first of all, independent retail is just such a community, right?
Absolutely.
And it's not just independent grocers leaning on independent grocers. It's a community that, especially through the NGA, feels like it's inclusive of vendors, and we are perceived as partners and part of the conversation, and really relied on to help bring a lot of education to the space. And so every NGA I go to, I feel like there's a different theme. Usually the grocers are talking about something that also the vendors are talking about. At this particular event this year, I feel like the theme was kind of like a lot of vendors who are on the bleeding edge, because we have to be, and a lot of retailers who are like, oh gosh, okay, we have to do something, don't we?
Yeah.
Right? The industry is asking of us vendors is to figure out how to help them baby step to where they need to be, because they finally have recognized that they need to catch up in a few aspects of their organizations.
Yep, absolutely.
So if that's my NGA theme, like that's what I'm picking for this year. What's your takeaway from the show this year?
Well, first, I agree with everything that you just said, but I think that, the grocery industry specifically, more so than any other that I deal with, has traditionally been set around, look, this is how grocery does it. This is how we do things.
So we've always done it that way.
Exactly. And, to a certain degree, I'm completely on board with that. For them, it's all about their end customer, and I understand that. But I think that more and more the understanding is coming to the ownership and the folks that are running these to start working on the internal customer, your employees, your back office folks. And this is where vendors like us do come in and do offer a true service. I mean, I know full well Washburn, doing a point of sale repair, your end customer doesn't care that we repaired that scanner scale for you, but your end customer does care that you don't go bankrupt buying new scanner scale constantly. And your consumer does care that you're able to maintain employees because you're improving the processes internally. And so, I think that there's a ton of truth to that. I think that just like anybody else, to a certain degree, some of it's kicking and screaming, as it's going through. I think that the organizations are coming around. Yeah. There's a lot of growth from that perspective. And I think that that's shown this year more so than any in the past. I think that, the show itself has really started to pick back up to pre-COVID attendance. And I think that you're also seeing the attendees are getting younger and younger, and, that's starting to really transform it as well.
Yeah, I think you and I have been in these verticals long enough to see kind of the waxing and waning of the all-in-one solution trend versus the best-of-breed solution trend. And it's always interesting to me to see how enterprise versus mid-market versus small independents with, less than 10 stores, they all follow different cycles.
Right.
Between whether all of the independents want a single solution, or if they're looking just for point solutions. Where do you think the industry's at right now?
Well, I mean, again, I guess it depends on, whether you're talking about enterprise, mid-market, or independent. For the independent, I still feel like, they're looking for point solutions that offer, this is what I need, this one thing, not the other 40 features. I just need this one thing. And I think that's fine, because you've got to get to that price point. Understandably, not everybody has Kroger's budget. Even when you get into the middle market, not everybody is Stater Brothers either. If you've got 15 locations, you're not going to go through the process of putting together a contract with Verifone that includes, 47 maintenance SLAs and blah, blah, blah. You can't afford that. That's an expensive program. So for the independent, you're looking for somebody who can fill that gap, but isn't going to just wreck your P&L. And so, I still feel like the down market is still very point solution focused. And I think that the vendors are finally starting to figure out that jack of all trades, master of none doesn't work down here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the part where the grocers have had to drag us, not anybody at this table, but, the vendors as a whole. But I don't see that changing, really. I mean, the independents are going to be focused on whatever they're focused on Tuesday. That's where we have to be. Yeah, I mean, I think that the independent's just always going to stay that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an interesting chat with Empower Fresh earlier, where they shared the rule of 7. Have you heard this?
I haven't.
Among independent grocers, you have 7 minutes to talk to an independent grocer and communicate your value. And if it goes well, in 7 weeks, you'll get time to get in front of them.
Okay.
And if that goes well, you might implement in 7 months. It's so true.
I was going to say, I was actually thinking, man, 7 months, that's ambitious.
But it's true that the independent operators, that's where my heart is, right? You and I have both worked at enterprise, every size organization on the planet.
Right.
And my heart has always been with independents.
Yeah.
I love entrepreneurs, and I love the spirit that's in independent grocery. But they're freaking busy.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, it's just them. Going back to the payments roots a little bit, running the grocery team, you had a completely different spectrum. I mean, Kroger had a full payments team that knew as much about payments as I did. And then the independents, really depended on me to make sure that I was guiding them. And it's no different in the point of sale side. I mean, I'm making up names here, but, Kroger's going to have a Toshiba team. Jarrod's store doesn't have a Toshiba team. So they're going to be depending on someone to help them through that. Once you do build that value, once you do build that trust, the nice part about this industry is, I mean, you're in forever. You build that bond and you stay there.
What advice would you have for some of the younger generation that's coming up and taking over in independent grocery? What advice would you have for them when they're trying to source vendors that they don't know who they can trust and who they can't?
The first answer is going to be sort of obvious, but I think it's sort of lost on the generation coming in, but be patient. Don't walk in with the expectation of, all right, I'm going to meet with 3. One of those 3 is going to have to be it. If something doesn't feel right, then find a 4th. Find the solution that you need. Find the solution that's going to actually solve your problem. Don't lean on the bundle. Each of these vendors, at least in theory, is going to be somewhat good at what they do, but not all of them, or none of them, are going to be good at everything that they do.
Your recommendation to kind of the incoming generation of independent grocers is really to make sure that they're making time to research, to be patient in the process, and to make sure that they're talking to the vendors who actually can solve their problems, right? And if they can't find someone who does, they need to keep looking.
Yeah, that's one of the few situations to where it's like, that's the way we've always done it. Keep doing that. That's okay. The quick solution isn't always going to be the right solution. And utilize the people that have been here a long time. I mean, go prior guard and see what they did. Doesn't mean you have to do it that way. But as you mentioned earlier, I mean, the independent grocery world it's a community. And, I'm not saying, go to your competitor down the street, but the guy that stayed over will probably help you out a little bit. And so, I mean, I think it's just build those relationships, be patient in who you're shopping for, pull the trigger when you're ready.
What should people know about Washburn?
Everything. I would say, the biggest problem that Washburn has, and what I've spent the last year and a half to really trying to resolve, is Washburn has been around for 35 years. We are masters of our trade. Luckily for you guys, I'm not the one fixing anything, but the people that are fixing them are masters of their trade.
Randy's really good.
That's right. Yeah, Randy is the man. But the problem that the organization has is we've always been sort of a behind-the-scenes partner, so we're not a name that's well known. Although within this room, we've got 20 partners, and a whole lot of these folks are probably doing business with us and don't even know it. I think that our repair services, our point-of-sale repair services, are such a niche service. We're not a reseller. We're really not touching any other aspect of the point-of-sale or even the hardware. I mean, we're not trying to sell you new. We're completely agnostic. We're not tied to one manufacturer over the other. And so, I mean, I think that that's a differentiated offer. We're not selling this stuff and we'll service it. This is what we do, and this is what we do very well. And so, I mean, I think that that makes us a good partner for the resellers in the room, because again, we're never going to be competitive to you. And then for the independent who, again, is tired of buying, new printers over and over again because they're going to break, let us repair them for a quarter of the price. There's a lot of value in that. So my job is to make sure that everybody knows that.
I think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it. It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
What advice would you give to someone who was working in this space, retail, technology, who's on their career path, and maybe they're in store and they're trying to figure out if they want to stay in store or progress in their organization, move to the vendor side. Maybe they're on the vendor side and they're trying to progress through the vendor landscape that is insane right now. What do you wish someone had told you earlier in your career?
Well, I mean, I think that I've been very lucky in my career because whether tended to or not, stumbled into what I'm good at. My advice to anybody that's sort of starting out their career, almost regardless of what it is, I mean, figure out what you're good at and figure out how you can make money doing that. I mean, I know that sounds overly simplistic, but you meet people all the time that are in sales and hate sales. Well, get out of sales. You can't be good at it if you hate doing it. No different than, I've met product people that, I mean, all they want to do is, get into sales. Well, great. Okay. If that's what you think you'd be good at, then go do those things. But I moved into sales because, they made more money. And I thought, well, okay, we'll give that a try. And then somehow I figured out that I'm good at it and I enjoy doing it. Again, nobody loves a quota, but the rest of it, I enjoy that aspect of it. And the people side of it is just so much fun to me. But at the same time, you and I personally know people that don't like people, probably shouldn't be standing in a booth selling people. Yeah, I mean, I would just say, figure out what you're good at, figure out what you enjoy doing, and then turn that into a career however you need to.
What else would you like independent grocers to know?
First and foremost, that Washburn exists and we're here to help. Things that I figured out by taking this role and moving into this is a whole lot of the independents, I mean, even going up to enterprise, just don't realize that repair is an option. It's always been, I mean, the number of people that have walked up to me at this, at this show, and, you see all of our hardware sitting on the table over there, walk up and just tap their finger on a printer and go, you have no idea how many of these are just thrown away. And it's like, good God, stop doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a $500 piece of equipment you're just throwing away. That it's conversations like me realize that I've got to do a better job of getting the word out that, we exist and we do these things. And I mean, I'll continue to focus on that and try to, everybody at this room or in this room eventually figures out that Washburn is here. This is what we do and can do it for any of them.
Would you share the Washburn motto?
The unofficial motto.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll get in trouble if I act like this is the real motto.
So what does Washburn do?
We fix you with a $sign and an I and a exclamation point is the I.
Okay.
We got to keep it classy.
That's important. We'll put that in the captions.
I appreciate it.
Final question.
Okay.
How do you help people love their jobs?
Within my organization, I can't stand a micromanager. Let people do their job. If a person is good at their job and they're doing it well, outside of just being a nice person and never have to talk to them. Nobody wants somebody sitting on their shoulders. Nobody wants somebody looking over their shoulders. Somebody's job is already too much time in their life. It shouldn't be a miserable time in their life. I'm a huge proponent of hire people that you can trust, put them in the right position and let them do what they need to do. Outside of just my industry and how I would manage people, honestly, I don't think the answer is too much different, but it's just, I understand that not every organization can afford President's Club trips and that kind of stuff. That's not the real world everywhere you go, but try to make it fun. I mean, try to make it to where, again, every day isn't a tedious, awful thing that you're having to do. Life's just too damn short to be miserable. You have to take it upon us as management and leaders and all that good stuff to create a culture to where people want to be there, not just a matter of, well, I've got a car payment, so this is why I'm here.
Thank you for hanging out with me.
My pleasure.